Hey, what's going on, chess lover? This is Maurice Bishop, and today I want to talk about finding your position and calculating it the right way. Finding your focal points and everything. So, without further ado, let's actually get started. All right, y'all. I want y'all to look at this position. It's white to it's white to move and win. But I want y'all to really analyze this position. Um, just really take a few seconds to observe it and everything, and I'm gonna actually explain to y'all my thoughts and my ideas of how I um break down the concept. So I'll give y'all 5 seconds. If you need to pause the video, go ahead and do that. All right. All right, guys. So before I even give a solution, this is what I want to share with y'all. So when I look at this position, right, I see that the rook is on g8, and as you see, I can't go queen g7 because of the rook is on here, right? So I would love to go rook d8, but this queen is actually in a way. He could just go queen captures d8, so I can't do that, right? Or in my mind, I could think of maybe I could just take a piece or whatever, right? But it gotta be something forcing. It gotta be a forcing move. And so the only thing I could think of is this one right here. So this is the thing. When I look at the position, I see like any mating attacks that I can do, like any mating patterns, if I could do it or not. So obviously, I can't go queen g7, right? Because the rook is here. My next option is like, okay, maybe I could go rook d8. Nope, I can't do it because the queen is guarding this d8 square, right? So I see these two things, and I see a possibility of mating attacks. But what else can I do in this position? And yes, I could take the bishop, but it's nothing forcing. It's nothing forcing at all. Like I feel like I'm so close. And a lot of times we play position, we feel like we're so close. So another thing I look at is, okay, where is any weak pawns out there? Is there any weak pawns out there that is weak that could potentially lead to other checkmate patterns? Like, is there anything weak? You know, um, things like that. So when I see this, I see that the f7 pawn, nothing is defending that f7 pawn. And I know that when you put pieces to, or when you thread a piece or whatever, you can actually start something, that can make black try to react to try to defend real quickly, and then next thing you know, he, you know, miscalculates something and then he goes all wrong. So I see all these possibilities with queen g7, but the rook is guarding it. Rook d8 is not gonna work because the queen is guarding it. So I need a second approach. Yes, I calculated taking the bishop, but me taking the bishop is not gonna really do too much for me. So the another thought that I have in my mind is actually rook d7. Now, y'all, why rook d7? Well, because I look at it like this. If I go rook d7, before I even did this move, rook d7, I don't see any other checks that he can do with me at all. Obviously, he's not going to go queen g1 check and get with his queen. Then this is definitely winning for white. So he's not going to do that. I was looking at any other checks or other moves that he can do. Any other sacrifices like rook h4, which is pretty much white is winning. It's just not going to happen. So these are all the stuff that I'm visualizing. Like I'm not just thinking about white's best move. I'm thinking about any other best move that black can actually do. So that's in my mindset of what I'm thinking about. But I chose rook d7 because I was like, well, if I can't go rook d8 and if I can't get the queen g7, then I'm gonna just go rook d7, hit rook catches f7, and me mating on h7 is like, you know, I'm always get that. Like he can't stop me from mating him on h7. So, and another reason why I thought about this is because remember I told y'all that I wanted to go rook d8 and everything. So my mindset is maybe I can actually force him to block this queen angle from going to that direction, right? So, but I go rook d7. The reason why I rook d7 because I'm already threatening rook captures f7. Remind you, the rook can't go f8 because queen g7 is checkmate. So this rook has to stay here. This rook can't move at all. So with rook d7, and like I said, it's nothing that this bishop, light square bishop can do. It's nothing that this rook can do. There's really nothing that, well, this rook can do something. But what I'm saying is, this bishop can't do nothing. This queen can't do nothing. But what black can do is stop me from going to rook catches f7. Because if I go rook catches f7, he'll take me, right? So because of this queen is blocking this rook away, now I have the winning move rook d8 now. And now there's nothing that he can do to stop me from going to queen g7 checkmate. Nothing at all. So you see what I'm going at? Like this is stuff that y'all gotta think of like in your mind. So like just think about it. This is how I thought. I was like, okay, I want to checkmate on g7. I can't because his rook is blocking it. Oh, there's a tactic move on rook d8 because the rook is pinned, and I could go queen g7. But I saw a defender with the queen defending the square, so I'm like, dang, okay. So I can't do that. I can't do that. Okay, so what other weaknesses in the black camp that I can go? Okay, is there any undefended piece? Well, yes. The bishop is undefended. The pawn on e5 is undefended. Um, and what I mean undefended, I pretty much means that there's nothing protecting a piece, which is what I'm talking about. Like, the rook is protected because of the b5 point. But I'm looking at any other piece that's undefended. So obviously I could take this bishop back because it's undefended. Even though I'm not attacking the e5 pawn yet, it's undefended, right? But also this f7 pawn is undefended, and I gotta think, okay, that f7 pawn is undefended, and I imagine myself like, okay, if this rook is on this seventh rank, maybe I could mate on queen catches a7 check, right? And when I realized that, I'm like, okay, so if I go rook d7, you know, there's no way he could stop me from capturing on f7 unless he goes rook c7. But the thing, like I told you in the beginning, now this queen is blocked. Now I could go rook d8, and now there's nothing he could do to stop me from going queen g7. You know, so this is how I'm doing it. So I got another one for y'all. All right, so look at this, y'all. So how about this? Um, let's say black decides to capture um on queen catchers f5. For some reason, y'all, I don't know what's going on with this one. It's not making me do a move. Okay, so I know why, y'all, because of. All right, we're just gonna push this here. It was supposed to be black to move first, but I'm just gonna push this up there so I can give y'all an idea. All right, so it was black's move, queen catches f5. So queen catches f5. What do white do? And how and like what would you really do in this position? Now it just seems like and I know y'all know the principle. It said that if you have three or more pieces developed, you can actually do an attack or whatever. Things could happen or whatever, right? So in this position, you already know that you would love the knight to go to g5 so that you can checkmate or whatever. Or if the rook was not on this g file, you would love to checkmate him on g7, right? And a lot of times people, when they look at this position, they like, oh man, like I'm really not sure what to do or whatever, things like that. So if y'all was in this position, what would y'all actually do? I'll give y'all 5 seconds to think about it. All right. If I need to pause the video, pause the video. All right, y'all. So, if y'all saw this move, knight h3, you are correct. And 9 out of 10 times, y'all, like your opponent's gonna automatically see knight g5 ready to threaten queen catches h7, right? They're gonna automatically like think that, and they're gonna be like, oh man, we can stop it, no problem. And half of the time, they're not gonna even think about it. They're just gonna go queen h5, right? So this is another mating pattern that y'all need to look at instead of queen catches h5, because a lot of y'all probably would do it, or maybe y'all move your queen away. But the actually best move would actually be knight g5. Knight g5 would be the best move. Y'all probably like, what the heck is going on here? Nah, man, it's nothing going on at all. It's actually a really good move. Because if the queen captures on a6, then knight captures f7 is checkmate, which is a smothers mate, which is pretty crazy, right? So so then you're probably looking at it like, okay, what can he do? What can white do? Or what can black do? Black can't go rook f8 because then this is g7 checkmate. So he can't do that. So it's a losing position for black in this position. So it's pretty crazy though. But the whole point is, y'all, that I'm making is, look at the squares, look at the focal points. Like I said, if y'all ever bought the book Art of Attack by Vladimir Vujovic, very classic book, man, and the book is very thick, but it really talks about mating patterns and it talks about, um, focal points and everything and weak squares and things like that. So, um, this is pretty much where I got the idea from, but I also got the idea, another idea, which is upgraded. Jacob Agar, he's the one that writes the Grandmaster preparation series and everything, and one of them was the attacking manual, part one and two. So part two, he really breaks it down, but I wanted to share this with y'all because I think this will really actually help y'all, how to think, how to find shots or whatever. And this is why I always say, study tactics, at least for 10 minutes or whatever, and don't just get easy stuff. Get the hardest puzzles. The hardest puzzle that you solve or whatever, the more your mind will become creative and start thinking of ideas or whatever, things like that, and you start getting patterns. So that's why I wanna start showing y'all more mating patterns, and I want to show y'all more tactical patterns that is like relevant to this today and everything. So that's what I really want to show y'all. But I just wanted to break it down for y'all. How I think. How I'm breaking stuff down and everything. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Please like, please share, please comment. Let me know what you think, and also y'all don't forget to subscribe. All right, y'all. Peace.